welcome to another episode of Sports and Discourse with your host, Derek Stevenson. And today's episode is probably going to end up being one of those episodes that always stays near and dear to my heart. It's my 100th episode, man. And I got my guys, Quentin Walker and Isaiah Barron with me. And today, man, we're going to talk a little UK basketball. My guy, Nephew Q, is a North Carolina fan, but he recently went on ESPN radio to talk NBA draft, and he spoke about my Wildcats. So I said, no, you got to come on my show and talk about my Wildcats.
Lord have mercy.
And just so I could give a little something back to my audience today, I'm doing a giveaway. I got Sports and Discourse mugs. I'm giving away 3 of them. And all you got to do to be eligible for one of these mugs is, number 1, you have to be subscribed to the channel. So if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. And number 2, in the comments, you have to tell me your favorite college player of all time and why you like the player. That's all you got to do. And just because I'm a nice guy, I got my guy Isaiah Ike Barron, who actually made this cup for me. He has a promo code that I'm going to give to y'all on the next episode when I announce the winners. And the people that just want to go buy one that are unlucky enough to win one of these 3, you can go buy your own at a discounted rate. So we're going to have that for y'all. But anyways,
I actually got the discounted rate on all the products.
Oh, yeah? So you're going to just do a superstore blowout?
Yeah.
Showing love for everybody, man.
I just want to know, can I participate? Can I comment who my favorite college player is?
You absolutely are eligible,
all
man.
Right. Ron Mercer.
Ron Mercer?
Yep.
That's what's up, man. I like the Ron, actually, man.
But you just said that they have to say why it's their favorite player.
Because he's light-skinned.
Y'all kind of look alike, too, don't you?
I'll take it. So I'm going to comment that. Ron Mercer, because he's light-skinned. I'm going to put that in the comment section. That's my reason.
You look like Saul Smith.
Keep up.
That's what's up, man. But yeah, so anyway, so we're going to have to give away for y'all. But anyways, let's get into the show, man. And first of all, I want to start off. I told y'all before I went on vacation that the only thing that was going to cap my vacation off perfectly was when I come back. My favorite point guard for 2023, Rob Dillingham, was going to commit to my Kentucky Wildcats, and he did. And we got to talk about Rob for a little bit. So first of all, are y'all familiar with Rob Dillingham?
Before we get started, I want to know, why do you like him so much? Because you've talked about this boy for about 8 episodes in a row. And I just want to know, what's your infatuation with him?
You want me to start it off? All right, this is the main reason why I like Rob, right? I feel like when you watch certain players and you watch their high school clips, there's certain kids that just leap off the screen at you, right? And I kind of feel like those are those ones. Like if you go back and you watch like Austin Rivers, John Wall, certain guys like that, like you can just see pro in those guys from watching those clips. And that's kind of how I feel about Robert Dillingham, man. He kind of reminds me of Kyrie Irving. Like, he just seems like one of those guys that just has an ability to just make a shot no matter where he is on the court, no matter if it's 2 or 3 guys chasing him. He just always seems to be able to get to his spot, and he always gives you big numbers, man. Like, all the games that I watched of him, you know, I think I think he had one game where he might have scored under 20 points, but he shot like 50% from the field. So normally, man, he's a very efficient scorer. He's a super ball handler. He's athletic enough to get up in the rim and finish. I love the kid, man.
I see. Hear my DJ. Which one you want more?
I would love to see them both play together.
Hey, no. Which one you want more?
Because listen, I know everybody thinks it's a done deal that DJ's going to Louisville, but there are some sites that are still kind of maintaining some hope that Kentucky still has a chance. And I do like Reed Shepherd. I think Reed Shepherd will play good with Dillingham. But if we had DJ and Rob, I think they both can do either or position. They both can score. They both can facilitate for each other or whoever else is running with them. I think it could be one of the most deadly combinations that Kentucky may have ever see.
Second round next. Go ahead. What was you about to say? Ike?
Me personally, every single year it's a new team. So I don't even get into all of it anymore. I just wait until the season starts, and then we see what we got. Looking at high school clips never really tells you what a person's going to be. I mean, they could come to college. They could be great. Could come to college and...
Was you always like that? Like, I know when Coach Cal got here, he brought in, DeMarcus, John Wall, blah, blah, blah. Was you always taking a wait and see approach, or has it just like the latter years you just been like...
Yeah, just these, probably the last 5 years, I just been like, let's just see what we got.
Okay.
It's too much to keep up with.
Yeah.
Every year you're trying to keep up with who's this person and who's this person. You're trying to watch all these clips on YouTube of how this person plays, and then you're trying to figure out, are they going to fit well with each other? Like, you just don't know until they actually get on the court. But I have watched clips of Rob. I mean, he looks like he's going to be legit, but you just never know.
You never know.
Yeah, he does seem to be a little, what they call it, light in the trunk. I think he might be only about 165 pounds or something like that. So if there's one thing that I think could potentially make him struggle, it's that I just don't think he's like strong. He's going to be physically strong immediately. But he does got super ball handling. He got decent speed. So even with him being a little, frail, if you will, I still think he's going to be able to get to his spots pretty good, man.
I think they'll put him in a nice summer program, add about 10 pounds on him. I think he'll be all right by the time the season starts. Yeah.
He has to play point guard position. I just don't see him like, if DJ comes, I don't see Rob being able to play the two with his size.
So what do y'all do with Wheeler?
Wheeler will be gone already.
Will he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be a senior.
Oh,
he's a senior
this year. My bad. I'm tripping.
Yeah.
My fault.
And honestly, man, Wheeler has experience. He's tough. But based on what Calipari has this season, I could almost kind of see him running some teams without Wheeler. Because I feel like you're going to have Antonio Reeves, who there is definitely a question mark because I haven't seen him compete at the SEC level. But he looks like a dude that could play point guard and can just score like from all three levels in college. So you could potentially have him out there with Casey Wallace, who kind of reminds me of Deron Lamb a little bit, with Chris Livingston, the kid from Akron, playing the small forward or shooting guard. Powerful dude, kind of reminds me of Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, but probably a better shooter. You have CJ Frederick, who's going to probably be one of the best jump shooters in college. And then you could, throw in one of the big men to play with, Sheway. So I could potentially see a lineup where they might be a little better without Wheeler.
So what you're saying is y'all don't need Wheeler?
I think we definitely need Wheeler because I definitely think you always need somebody with some experience, somebody with some leadership capability. And I like Wheeler's mentality, his toughness, but he is short. And I think that's probably the thing that hurt Wheeler the most because there was a lot of times when he would make decisions, and I think his height just caught up with him in certain spots. Like the last play where he drove to the basket and kicked it to TyTy Washington, I think if he had been a little bit bigger, he probably would have made a better play or a better decision, or just being able to make passes a little easier. So I do like Wheeler, but I always choose big dudes, man. Anytime I can get bigger players.
How do y'all feel about Wheeler? Both of y'all. How do y'all feel about Wheeler?
For me, I can't really say.
Because he had his ups and downs all season.
And, the injuries and all that, you couldn't really tell. Like, you can blame injuries. Like, he was playing well, and then he got hurt, and he came back, and he wasn't playing too well. Then he started to play a little bit better, got tweaked again. I don't know. If he can stay healthy, he might be able to stay out on that floor and be our point guard. But his height does get to him. He gets in there in the paint with all the trees. It's hard to get a shot off when you get in floater. There. Yeah, I would like to see him be a better passer when he gets into the paint. Because I think driving to the hole, he draws attention from the big man. I mean, he does. Oscar gets a lot from him from doing that, but I would like to see him make more plays instead of just getting in the hole and throwing the ball up and getting it blocked into the stands.
And man, honestly, the reason why I even said I could see lineups with Wheeler on the bench is because I think it's finally time for Calipari to start using the small ball offense. You got Sheboy in the middle. Mm-hmm. Or you could use Toppin or Collins or Ware, whichever one. And then put some perimeter players around them boys. And then just let them space the floor. Because there was a lot of times where I feel like when Sheboy caught the ball, he was so crowded. But he wasn't able to kick it out to solid shooters. So it was like you got the man down there. He's super crowded. He's getting double teamed. And then when he does facilitate to other people, they're not really great knockdown jump shooters. But I think if you put him out there on the court and then you use a smaller lineup and you got all guards, like I said, Casey Wallace looks like he's going to be able to shoot okay. Antonio Reeves look like he's a shooter. Then you're going to have Livingston that, you know, he might be a streaky shooter, but he'll be able to drive to the basket from the perimeter, make plays. And then you're going to have CJ, man, probably one of the best shooters in college. So I feel like if he was to embrace small ball with one big, I feel like the team has potential to do high offensive numbers.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, sir, before the season even kicks off, 4 or 5 months from now, you sound like he got high hopes. So what you talking like y'all Final Four right now?
I think they got potential if, like I said, CJ's coming off the injury, but he said that he was getting in better shape. That was his focus. Mm-hmm. And then, once he starts doing the 5-on-5 drills and, see how he fits with the team. But this year, they only really got 2 star recruits coming in. Not a whole lineup that's trying to learn and fit in where they, get in where they fit in. So you're going to have another team of experienced ball players. Like I said, I got to see what Reeves can do at a step up consistently. But the kid looked like, when he had the ball in his hands at his school, it wasn't nothing for him to get 18. Mm-hmm. And he was super effective in the pick and roll. He has like step back jumpers. Like he seemed like a dude that can just score. So if he's able to even give you 12 to 14 like he could on his small level, he's going to be a super threat. So I do think I don't expect Sheboy to win Player of the Year again.
I was going to ask you about that next.
I don't expect his numbers to necessarily even be better, but I think he'll still be in the same ballpark. I still think he's going to be a double-double machine. He probably going to be battling your dude, Baycott, for most double-doubles of the year. It's probably going to be one of them two that ends up, winning that. But I think if Sheboy can even come close to what he done last year, which I think he will. Apparently, he been over in the Congo. Cal told him make sure he got in better shape. Than he already was, and working on his jumper. So if he's able to make improvements, then I do think that the ceiling definitely is Final Four.
What's your thoughts on Sheboy?
If Sheboy can get to where he can knock down that little 15-footer consistently, he will be the National Player of the Year again. Because on the block, he's stronger than pretty much everybody. He has more heart and more go than anybody. He's a rebound machine. Kind of need him to make sure he don't get in foul trouble, because sometimes he does get caught and gets a couple early fouls. But if he can knock down that jump shot, that's no stopping him on this level. The next level is going to be different.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be different.
But he definitely needs that jump shot for the next level.
Yes, sir.
If he wants to go play and actually get minutes. Like, I think he'll get picked up no matter what. But if he wants to actually get minutes or not get moved down to the G League, he's going to have to knockdown jump shots.
I actually think Sheway would be serviceable in the NBA because more teams are going to the small ball lineup. So, like, that helps him out because majority of the time he'll be one of, if not the biggest player on the floor. And like you said, if he can knock down that 15 to 20 range jump shot, they'll find a roster spot for him. He'll find a roster spot. He'll be all right.
Yeah, I hope, man, because you would hate to see a guy be that good on one level and then just can't really figure out a way to.
I've seen it. Tyler Hansborough. I've seen it.
We've definitely seen it.
It happens all the time, man.
Yeah, guess who drafted him?
Your Pacers.
My dumb ass Pacers.
Pacers. So I've seen a guy kill in college, be dominant, do everything that he can possibly do, get to the pros, and nothing.
But Tyler Hansborough might arguably be the best. Well, I mean, I guess you could probably say Lou Alcindor, but modern era, he might be he's at least the most accomplished college player. It would be
between him and Christian Laettner as far as most accomplished college basketball player. But he's right there in that conversation, though.
Yeah, but you know when you watch college basketball and you see some of these players, you just know that they don't have an NBA game. Like, you see players in college ball and they're not like superstars in college, but you just look at their game and you're like, man, they have an NBA-style game. Man, I used to tell everybody, Rajon Rondo is going to be a killer in the NBA. And people used to be like, nah, man, he ain't going to be that good. Man, he has an NBA-style game. He got slowed down here at UK.
He did.
You know, Tubby with that slow down game and trying to keep the games in the 50s and 60s. Yeah. When you have a Rajon Rondo who is up and down, if he would have just let him go, opened up the floor and just let him go, man, they probably would have won a championship.
Ooh, that's an interesting question then that you brought that up. Do you think some of these college coaches hold some of these players back? Because you look at a Donovan Mitchell. Nobody's seen that at Louisville. He gets to Utah and it, blows up. Y'all think a lot of these coaches hold the players back because of the system they in instead of just being like, you know what, he's a dog. Let me let him just do what he do.
Actually, I'm glad that you brought that up because I wanted to bring up TyTy Washington, right? And I think TyTy is one of those players to me that as much as I love Calipari and as much as I think that his system has helped a lot of players get to the NBA, some guys that even probably shouldn't even made it, like Derek Willis and some other ones like that, I do think maybe TyTy probably wasn't utilized correctly. And what I mean is, like, if you look at TyTy's game, he's really a point guard, but he was sort of kind of forced to play shooting guard at Kentucky. But when he actually had the ball in his hand, he broke John Wall's assist record. And he's very, very efficient in the pick and roll offense. Now, he's not really explosive, so he does kind of need some help. But when he put him in a pick and roll offense, he was usually going to make something happen. He either was going to come around the pick, and he's very efficient shooting a mid-range jumper or a floater. I think he shot 50% on his floaters, or he was able to get other guys the ball in good shots. So I do think sometimes players are held back, or they're even just like not really able to utilize their actual skill set. Like, for instance, Austin Rivers. I feel like at Duke, he got held back. I even feel like Jason Tatum got held back a little bit while he was at Duke. Because I feel like towards the tournament, Jason Tatum really started coming alive. But during the regular season, he was just kind of like...
playing in the weeds, just kind of, yeah.
Well, some of those players I don't think were held. Like I actually think TyTy playing the two helped him for the league. Everybody already knew he could play point guard. But can you play off the ball? Because there's going to be times, like depending on what team you go to or, these players, there's going to be times you might be on the floor with another guard or a point forward. You might be on the floor with a LeBron James or somebody that's bringing the ball up the court. You have to be able to play off the ball as well. And I think that's what Cal does with a lot of his players. I think he puts them in positions where they're not comfortable to make them better to be ready for the league. Like, you look at Anthony Davis when he was in high school, Anthony Davis was a perimeter type player. I mean, of course, he blocked a lot of shots and stuff, but he handled the ball, shoot jump shots. When he got to Kentucky,
and his team was trash, I believe.
They were super trash. They were super trash. But when he got to Kentucky, Cal put him on the block. It was like, you're going to need this for the next level. You're going to have to be able to play on the block. We already know you got the perimeter game. The same thing with Cat.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
It was the same thing with Cat. When you looked at Cat in high school, Cat handles the ball, shoots threes. I already knew he could do that.
They actually was comparing him to Kevin Durant at one point.
But it's get on this block, learn this part of the game as well. Now, as a Kentucky fan, it holds our team back at times because they're not in position to where they can
do the most damage.
Do the most.
Or do what's natural for them.
Yeah, that too.
But player stand-wise, like development, I think it's great for that player. But us as fans,
it's frustrating.
It's very frustrating because we want to win.
Yeah.
We probably lost a few championships based off of Cal's system developing players more than it actually was able to help us win at that particular moment.
Yeah, I definitely let one slip away. Was it 2018? The platoon squad?
The platoon, was it
2015?
Yeah, 2015.
Yeah, y'all definitely let that one slip away. Y'all definitely should have had a chip that year.
That one was because of loyalty.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, instead of doing what's best for the squad,
instead of putting the Twins on the bench.
But I do have to disagree to a certain extent because the Twins both ended up having. I know where you're going with this, but the Twins both ended up having better or longer careers in the pros than Tyler Ulis did.
But what about Devin Booker?
But that was because of their size.
Now, I can't make an excuse for the Booker.
So why couldn't you put one twin with Devin Booker and then have the other twin come in with Ulis?
This was my thing. The reason you have Ulis in the game is because Ulis was a true point guard.
Definitely.
He is one that will slow the ball down, make sure the ball's going into the paint to Cat, because we went completely away from getting the ball into Towns. And that killed us. You needed Booker for the scoring. I mean, Aaron Harrison, he can knock down some shots. But when it comes to crunch time, man, just didn't trust him. I mean, I know Aaron Harrison hit them big shots the year before. Shot after shot after shot to win games.
He actually is a Kentucky legend, in my opinion, just for that one tournament run.
He is. But my thing is sometimes you have to go with what's best for that moment.
But see, that's coaching though. That goes back to coaching.
But it was all because it wasn't that. It was loyalty. He told them, "You two are my guys if you come back." And they came back and he kept his word.
And it's kind of difficult to knock him too, because at the end of the day, it would be hard to explain to kids that took you to the Final Four that you ain't good enough to play anymore.
But see,
without losing them completely.
But that's coddling though, because now if I got this guy that's coming in and busting your ass, shouldn't you want to work harder?
But I don't know if I believe that they was getting their asses busted in practice.
But we don't know.
Because I feel like with their experience, knowing the system, and they was 5-star recruits too, and big. I don't know if they probably was probably drilling Booker and Ulis in practice.
I doubt that. I honestly think that Booker and Ulis was probably giving it to him in practice.
You don't think a 6'5" point guard that played in the NBA playoffs was good enough to school Ulis in practice?
That size don't mean nothing if the other guy is smarter than you on the court.
I mean, Ulis is definitely probably the smartest point guard, outside of Rondo.
And Ulis was a monster on the defensive end. He would get up in you.
He's guarding you 94 feet.
He would guard you full court. And Andrew Harrison wasn't that great of a ball handler.
Nah, but he was good enough.
He was good enough, but
I mean,
but I'm saying, but he wasn't great. Now I'm saying
played significant minutes in the NBA playoffs. We can't just dismiss him like in the playoffs you don't get minutes if you trash,
right?
Even on a weak team.
Smush Parker had minutes in the playoffs.
All right, well then we just gotta just negate what I just said. Then
What's his name? Dellavedova.
Well, he
started in the finals.
He started in the finals.
He didn't have no choice though, Kyrie. But back to TyTy. Do y'all think that's why he fell in the draft? Is because teams didn't know what he is or what to do with him?
I think athletically, I think when you look at the type of guards, like if you draft a guard in the lottery, you potentially saying you're going to be my starting guard at some point.
Right.
Maybe not the first year, but before that contract is up, you expected to play high minutes for this team. So if you looking at him and you thinking about all the guards in the NBA and how quick and athletic they are, that's probably what would have concerned me the most. Because I watched some of his draft workouts and he looked like he done got a little bigger. He looked like his shooting was on point. I just feel like with him not being explosive, I would be a little worried about if he could defend some of those guards. That would be what would scare me the most.
See, B's totally different. Just my opinion, I think the execs were looking at him and they looking at this past season, injury, another injury. Like, this dude's small. He gets hurt a lot. How is he going to be when he comes in? He get nicked. Is he going to have to miss games? Or is he going to be tough enough to fight through it? Because we see this man missed a lot of games because of injuries. It's hard to pick a player that you keep seeing get injured. It's hard to take them and not know, is this person going to get injured again? Or how many games are they going to miss?
Well,
it's just like right now, like even with Anthony Davis in the league right now, how many teams really want to pursue to go after and get AD when he's constantly hurt? Who would want to make a trade right now for a Zion Williamson? I mean, one of these teams that ain't that ain't that good. They just need whatever. They will go after him, not knowing. But championship teams, they not going to pay big time money to a person that stays hurt.
And honestly, you just made me think too. A lot of the scary part about when you draft these kids is that you taking them in high school, you playing 26, 30 games. They go to college, 26, 30 games. Then you take them to the NBA, and I'm not even including summer league exhibitions. They jump into
82 off top.
82, and if they end up playing in the playoffs, they could be potentially doing 120 or something like that.
Kevon Looney this season played 104 games.
104?
104.
So you talking about going straight from 30 games to 104? That is a big difference, man. And that's probably why a lot of these kids do be having some injuries early in their careers.
Mm.
Yeah, but I think that's why he fell, in my opinion. I think people just looking at him and just think, man, I don't know if he's going to be able to play a whole season. Is he going to be able to fight through that little injury?
Mm.
Or is he going to get a little nick and, miss 15 games and then come back and get nicked again and miss some more games?
I was actually surprised that he fell that far to 29, and that's why I was like, our team's just afraid of, they don't know what he does or what he does best.
See, me during the season, I didn't think he should have been picked in the first round.
Come back another year.
Before the injury, you didn't think that?
I mean, I figured because of potential that he was going to get drafted in the first round. But I'm saying, me from the eye test, I didn't think he was a first rounder. There was times where the moment was there for him to take over a ball game. I mean, I know the Duke game was early in the season, but this was a moment for you to really showcase what you got.
Mm.
And he wouldn't even shoot the ball. It's like he was timid. I was like, this guy's not ready. When you see those players that are ready, they love that moment.
And this ain't a joke. Do y'all think the St. Peter's game knocked his draft stock? Because they're like, okay, Kentucky obviously needs your help right now. Where are you at? Do y'all think that might have played a part in it as well?
I think so.
For me, I think it didn't necessarily help him, but I don't know if it really hurt him. Because I feel like St. Pete was able, until they faced y'all. And I'm not trying to like, discredit St. Pete or anything like that, but I feel like the refs was keeping the game more under control. And then when they played y'all, the refs said, all right, may the best man win. And then North Carolina's just so big, and like North Carolina just did what they supposed to do. I think Kentucky could have done that to them. Unfortunately, they didn't. But I think if the refs would have just like let the game get loose, I think Kentucky could have potentially done that to them.
But it goes back to my point with TyTy. Is the moment is right here for you, and you disappeared. Like you didn't step up to the plate. You didn't do what you were supposed to do. You didn't showcase why you should be drafted in the lottery.
And see, that's why I asked, because Sheway was doing what he was supposed to be doing. All he needed was one more other person to come along. And so maybe scouts are looking at it like, are these moments too big for TyTy? Like, this is the game for you to show what you can potentially do. Take over. And like you said, he disappeared.
Sheway's doing what he's supposed to do. Grady was playing injured.
Wheeler can only do so much.
Wheeler's a little big guy in there with, with.
And I'm not gonna make an excuse for Wheeler, but Wheeler was exhausted.
You can tell by the
he was ran into the dirt, man.
But that's TyTy was supposed to step up.
So what about the other guy that UK fans don't like to claim?
Oh, you talking about my guy Shaedon Sharpe?
Yeah. So we go from one guy who did play to another guy who didn't play. How do y'all feel about that?
Hold on. Before we start, I gotta tell all of my listeners, do not cancel me for this. We gotta talk about Sharpe just for a little bit. I know that Big Blue Nation hates Sharpe right now, so just bear with me briefly, and then we will never mention his name again. Okay,
he'll be gone.
Let me go first.
Go first.
All right, my opinion with Shaedon Sharpe.
Yeah, give me the post of Big Blue Nation.
As a UK fan, man, he's supposed to be out there playing. We want to see him play. We want to win. Man, with Sharpe, if Sharpe was playing, we might go win. We might win the championship.
Yeah, it's possible.
We want to see him play. You come here, you put on a uniform, like, we want to see you on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at it his way, it's you come in half the season, you haven't really got into college basketball shape, so you doing all the practices trying to get in shape, and then it gets point to where, all right, now you're going to play him towards the end of the season. Do you risk playing and getting injured for a few games when you are a pretty much guaranteed top 10 pick? If Shaedon Sharpe's my son, you're not playing. You're not playing in none of these little few games. Now, if he would have been there for the start of the season and all that, you got to play because you got to showcase something.
Mm-hmm.
But to throw him out there just towards the end of the season to play, I wouldn't have wanted my son doing it.
That's fair.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I think a lot of the reason why some people don't care for Shaedon is because he actually came out and said it was his decision. And I think people were like, oh, it was? And even like some general managers for the NBA was starting to look at him funny, like, because he made a statement where he said something like, oh, it was one of the toughest decisions I ever made, and I was going back and forth. So like one of the reporters that was talking to him at the draft camp was like, well, why didn't you just play then?
All right.
And he was like,
he never answered for him.
But all right.
Oh no, you got me.
How many games was left when they were saying he might play?
I can't remember exactly, but
wasn't too many games left in the regular season.
Like February-ish.
Yeah,
when
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
So what if he comes in, he reclassified, came, in the middle of the season. He comes in to play in those games, tears his ACL. or ruptures his Achilles. Now we all look at him like,
you should have just sat out. You should just,
like, why'd you even play this year?
Mm-hmm. So it's almost like a damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Now,
Well, I think one of the things that really set people off was this birth certificate or this graduation certificate that popped up out of nowhere and said that my guy graduated in May. Because I don't know about you guys, but once I graduated high school, I never went back to class there. And I believe he was taking classes in high school that following year before he came to Kentucky. So if you graduated in May, why are you taking classes in the fall?
So did he really graduate in May?
Apparently, because he got drafted.
I mean,
it's funny.
I mean, is it?
He had to have graduated if he got drafted because he's eligible because he's been out of high school for a year.
That's weird.
But I just don't understand why he went back to high school.
The thing is what high school would let you come back?
With that too.
And that's why a lot of the fans, I think, don't care for Shaedon because a lot of people just started to feel like he never had no plans of playing at Kentucky. Because I think if he would have said, hey, y'all, I'm coming to Kentucky, I'm sitting this year, and then 2022, we winning the championship, I think they would love Shaedon Sharpe.
I think for me, I think the rules is what's bad. It's not what Shaedon did, it's the rules. Mm-hmm. I feel like if you come out of high school, you know how they have the 1 year before you can enter the draft?
Or 19.
Or you're 19. I think that should be not just 1 year. It's 1 year of playing either college ball
or some sort of professional.
Or some kind of professional ball.
G-League, overseas.
Like that you have to play, not just sit and not do nothing and then you can join. Like I think, or they need to go back to where, you know, I think that you should be able to go straight from high school to the NBA. And if you go to college, you should have to play at least 2 years.
With this NIL stuff, why don't they look at colleges as a farm system now? Because obviously you can get paid while in college. So if I draft player X and I feel like he's not ready, I can keep him in college. But once I call you up from college, you can't go back. So a situation like Shaedon Sharpe, right?
Like I know what you're about to say. Go ahead.
So we draft you at number 7, right? But we feel like you're not ready. But we don't want to put you in the G League because we don't want to use one of those spots. So we'll let you go back to UK and play. You play, you know what I'm saying? You get adapted to the college game. We feel like you might be ready now.
But you're still making a salary.
Still making a salary. But once we call you up, you can't go back to college. That's it. Because you're getting paid in college anyways now.
But
he's taking a scholarship away from somebody else.
And not just that, is what if they call you up in the middle of college basketball season? No college team is going for that.
That's the price you pay.
No college team's going for that.
That's the price. Well, then we just got to get rid of the rule then. And let these guys come straight from high school.
I think they should have kept it that
way. Because I'm not saying this is going to, I think it's an anomaly, but you might have kids start looking at Shaedon Sharpe like, hold on. He sat the whole year. He didn't have to play at all. And he still went 7. Shit, I might have to think about doing that too. And then they find some way to finesse a college team. And then you still taking a scholarship away.
I do think it hurt his draft stock a little, but it wasn't enough to really make it really like scare other kids. But I do think
you think it hurt it?
Yeah, because I think if he would have played this season, he's going number 1 to 3. But I think if he would have played last season, I think they would have gave him a pass if he didn't look great.
But see, you just going off of high school.
Yes.
If he played this year, what if he didn't play it well? And now instead of being drafted 7th, he's falling like TyTy.
But that's the risk you take.
I know. But I'm saying, so you can't just say
but I think
he would have been from here to here. I think 7 without playing no college ball is amazing.
I mean, I guess you're right. And he really didn't even play no top level high school ball hardly. I think he played in the Peach Jam, but that's pretty much it. So there really isn't even any footage of him really killing elite players except for like one tournament. But I do. I hate to say this, but I would have risked the pick on him because if you just look at the measurables, I mean, you're talking about a dude that's 6'5", but he looks bigger than 6'5" to me.
Got long arms.
He's got like a 7-foot wingspan,
Athletic.
49-inch vertical.
Can shoot.
You have
The only weakness that he has, his ball handling is pretty weak.
They'll get that together.
But to me, man, I could see him, and I don't know how hard he's going to compete on defense. But if he's willing to compete on defense, I could see him potentially being Paul George-ish, right?
That's not bad.
But I don't know if he's going to compete on defense like Paul George.
He has to because he's playing in Portland with a guy who expect nothing but goodness. Or I ain't gonna say greatness because we don't know what type of guy he is, but he's gonna be playing beside Dame Lillard. Dame Lillard is not going for all that, you know what I'm saying, BS.
And just think if, the rumors that's been going around with KD, what if KD does end up in Portland? How much a KD and a Dame Lillard will help Shaedon Sharpe?
I don't think if KD ends up in Brooklyn,
Shaedon Sharpe gets moved?
Yeah, he has to be because he's a young player.
They're going to definitely ask for him.
They're going to need something young with potential in return. So they're not just going to Shaedon Sharpe's going to have to be a part of that deal. And if he goes to Brooklyn by himself,
playing alongside Ben Simmons.
Yeah, good luck.
His career's in trouble.
Good luck with that.
Because Ben Simmons is kind of almost like one of the more recent players that is kind of, I would call him the grandfather of this like finesse the college system era.
Well, Ben just got here. You can tell he really didn't even care for real.
Because didn't he just quit going to class the second semester, which I understand.
They got invited to the NIT and he didn't. He was like, no, I'm not playing. I'm like, dog, you can't.
I mean, do you risk getting hurt and playing in a damn NIT when you are potentially the number one pick in the draft?
Yeah, because now what are you saying? Well, if my team is a 16 seed in March Madness, I'm not going to play them.
I think 16 seed in the NCAA tournament where you can still win it all.
But as a
NIT
16 seed,
ain't nothing. I mean, you still are there and and have a chance.
The majority,
if you're not there, there's no chance to win it.
The majority of the time we see players take that route, they really don't live up to the hype though. Like we see Jadeveon Clowney in football, looking at Ben Simmons. Like most of the time when these guys do that weird stuff,
it doesn't pan out too well.
It don't really pan out. But if one of them did it and it worked, like you said, then I would be like, well.
Yo, Wildcats, when they lost to Robert Morris, Nerlens Noel, he still played. Archie Goodwin still played. They were still first-round picks. See what I'm saying? So Ben can still play. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to, lower your draft stock because Nerlens was, third in that draft or whatever?
Nah, I think, did he go that high?
Yeah, he went top 5. I know that for sure. But just because you play in a game that doesn't matter.
Nerlens was hurt, though, wasn't he?
Nerlens played because everybody was starting to figure out how was y'all so bad that season?
Nah, Nerlens got hurt in the season. Yeah, he got hurt during the season and was done for the rest of the year.
I think it was against Florida, I think.
Yeah, he got hurt. Okay, he got hurt like mid-season.
Okay, well, didn't take Nerlens out. Archie Goodwin, he still played. But
Archie Goodwin was playing to get drafted in the first round.
And he got drafted, right?
Yeah, but
so therefore it worked then, right?
But if Archie Goodwin was already considered a top 3 pick,
he would still play.
He ain't playing.
He playing. Because why not?
And then you said they don't live up to, their game might not live up to it, but look at the money they've made. That's the goal for them. The goal for them is to make it to the league and make a lot of money to take care of their family and themselves.
So you said that. So then why you came mad at Shaedon Sharpe then?
I don't know. I'm not
saying y'all. I'm just saying Big Blue Nation
because
as a whole.
As a fan, you want to win championships. Me as a Kentucky Wildcat fan, I want to see championships. I want to party downtown and go crazy and then go to Rupp and get in line to get the celebration tickets and be in Rupp ready to party when the team gets in there. As a fan, that's what I want to see.
I'm going to tell you what it is, right? Kentucky fans hate the idea of the one and done, right? Kentucky fans want to believe in their heart that you love the name on the front of the uniform as much as you love the name on the back. But they have grown to accept that you are here to transition to the NBA. They don't like it, but they have learned to accept it. So if you give us everything you got for that 1 year and then you talk good about Kentucky, they love you.
Okay.
TyTy Washington goes to the draft, he's talking about the fans and different things like that, and all you see is, we respect you, Ty. We love you, Ty. Thank you for the season, Ty. That's all they gave him after that. They might have been on Ty's head before that. They might have thought, oh, he shouldn't have went to the draft. Woo, woo, woo.
They still saying that.
But
that's why he failed. He should have came back. I've been seeing all of that.
But when he talk good about him, they give him the respect for that. But they feel like Shaedon just used Kentucky for everything, and they didn't get anything back from him. Not anything.
What do y'all mean by use?
He just used them as a portal to get to the NBA.
I mean, but he could have did that anywhere.
That's what I'm saying. He could have did that Louisville.
He took a scholarship or whatever.
But who'd he take it from?
He hurt.
If he didn't come until mid-season, means there was a scholarship that was already still available. So he didn't take the scholarship.
So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, who did he? How did he use you?
A lot of people feel like he hurt the recruiting because Cal could have went after other players. And like I think the one guard that went to Arkansas, that was a target.
Who, the kid that just got drafted?
Nah, the guy, he's coming in this year, but he's was the number 2 shooting guard or whatever. And I think he ended up going to Arkansas. So now people like, well, we could have been recruiting that guy. I forgot what his name is. But I think they hate the idea of him using the facilities, training with the team, using Calipari's connections in the NBA, and they just didn't get anything from the kid.
See, I actually think that
he got NIL deals.
Yeah, he did.
Just think though,
you know what I'm saying?
if he wouldn't, if
he got a Porsche too, I think.
Damn. If he would have went to the draft camps and all that, and did all the stuff, the working out for the teams, and they was like, and you looking like you're going to be going around 25 to 30, I believe he would have came back.
I do too.
So I believe that he didn't realize that he was going to go that high when he was saying, I'm coming back, when they were saying he's going to come back next season. But then he got in there and he started working out and he's showing these people what he got. They like,
top 10.
Somebody got to take a chance on this guy.
Yeah.
I really thought my Pacers was going to draft him.
What was y'all, 6? Yeah, y'all was 6. Yeah.
I thought we were going to draft him just because, like you said, kind of got like a Paul George type of feel to him.
He's the prototypical shooting guard. Like if you drafting one, a dude that could potentially play small forward too, maybe, that's the one you're going to draft. If you just line him up and look at him, you picking him all day.
But me as a Pacers fan, I was like, ooh, if you might draft him, he might not. He might end up being a bust.
That's the risk.
Or you could draft him and he might end up being
that dude,
one of the greatest players ever.
That's
But you haven't got to see what he can really do. So I was worried. I was like, man, I don't know if I want my team to be the team to take that chance.
I do think nowadays NBA players NBA GMs are paying more attention to this type of stuff, because nowadays more than ever you seeing players buck the system. You seeing players just go, I don't want to play, or I want to be traded and I'm sitting out until you do, or I'm hurt and I'm gonna just sit over here and, like John Wall, for instance, I'm going to just collect all the money. So I think nowadays, them teams are looking at these kids way differently. And I think that might have been why some of the reason why he slipped a little bit, because he just looked like one of those guys they ain't sure. Like, if he get mad in the first year, is he going to be...
He slipped?
You know what I mean? Yeah, he did. Because, they was considering him as high as, 4th or 5th at some point.
They was considering him as high as 5th, but he fell to 7th. He was at 7, so he ain't slipped.
But see, the thing is that with Shaedon, what's the difference between what just happened and then what we experienced when we was coming up through high school and kids getting drafted out of high school? It's the same thing, right? They took risk on KG. They took a risk on Kobe. They didn't take a risk on LeBron. They already knew what he was going to be. But for other kids coming out, Tracy McGrady, so Shaedon Sharpe is right there in line. So why not just take the risk? I mean, all of those guys ended up being great anyways, right?
But then none of them guys, except for LeBron, they didn't get. KG went. He went pretty high.
I
but
think KG
the rest
went
of the
5.
boys went low.
All right.
Though.
KG went 5. Kobe went 13.
When was the last time you seen Shaedon play a high school game?
I only seen clips. Like, it's been over a year since he
So,
played ball.
so was he busting ass in practice? Or did he even practice?
That he was practicing. That I know.
See, I
know some stuff came out with TyTy and Oscar and them saying that he is the truth.
Okay.
But then I heard some people say he wasn't picking it up in practice. But who knows, man?
The thing is, though, is when you coming from high school to college, of course, it's going to be an adjustment of first learning the system. The game speeds completely up. You know, I mean, it's not as NBA level.
Just that practice too.
But everything, like when you in high school playing ball,
you can take plays off.
You lift a little weights.
Yeah.
You know, it ain't nothing like super intense. When you get to the next level, it's intense.
But
the workouts are intense.
That. When you in high school, 9 times out of 10, you the best player on the court.
And it's like substantially better.
Yeah, so you can be like, I ain't really worried. But in college,
I played a little bit of high school ball. You might be out there against me.
These dudes in colleges is like, man, I need.
You get to college, there's more people that's on your level or above you. It's just like when they go from college to the NBA, like you see some people in college that are killers. They get into the NBA,
just a guy.
They just a normal guy.
Just a guy.
Because now it's 100 of you out there.
Yeah.
Now you're not the tallest, you're not the fastest, you're not the strongest, you're not the best shooter, you're not the best this anymore. Makes it hard.
Damn near impossible.
I'm gonna say this. I'm glad my Pacers didn't take a chance on Shaedon. I hope it doesn't come back to bite me and he ends up being the super truth. And he's the new generation of GOAT. But I'm glad we didn't take that chance because you just never know with a guy you haven't seen play in a long time.
Yeah, and before I'm going to move on from Shaedon, but I'm going to stay on this reclassification situation, right? Because Kentucky actually has a little interest in another guy that could potentially do the same thing. He's not really considered to be as ready to make the next jump, but Ugana Kingsley, a center, he actually is considering reclassifying and stepping up. But I think he might be a little more safe bet because he might not be as physically developed, so he might literally be doing what everybody expected Shaedon to do, which is come on campus, practice, develop, improve, and then play the year after. But do you think that that's going to actually start to make college recruiters and, scouts look at some of these situations a little negatively and potentially shy away from them?
Like you're a little old. Do you remember guys reclassifying when you was in high school? Like I don't remember it when I was in high school.
I don't.
I never even heard of it until like maybe the last 5 seasons or so.
I probably, if I was a lit high school player, I probably could have because I think I only had 2 credits whenever I was going into my senior year, so I could have easily knocked it out in summer school. And I could have did it, but you're right though. I don't see anybody.
I could have done it also. I only had 2 credits left when I got to my senior year.
Who started doing that?
But I wasn't seeing people do that.
Yeah,
I didn't hear about that. I didn't hear about people reclassifying, and
I think I don't know. It's kind of tricky, man, because I feel like if you were a top 5-star junior, it's like, okay, let me reclassify so I can get to school quicker. But if you 20, 30, like, nah, man, just stay in the grade level you at. Just go with your draft class or whatever the case may be. But if you have the potential and people are telling you that you have NBA potential, then I'm gonna try to get there as quick as possible. But it makes it hard on coaches because now you don't know how to recruit because I'm recruiting this kid he may reclassify and come, or he may just stay in his draft class. Like, so what do I do? Do I still keep recruiting him, hope that he reclassifies and come now? Or do I just I don't know what you do as a coach. It's probably kind of difficult to really recruit doing that.
Man, you got to think of how difficult it is, not just because of the reclassification, but everything.
Yeah.
Transfer portal.
Yeah.
NIL.
Yeah.
NIL deals you could be recruiting a player for 3 years, and I can come in 2 weeks, and if my NIL deal that's coming from someone in my city is offering you something better.
Not even just that though.
A 2-week recruit
what
will grab you.
What if you got a business who tells you, okay, look, we're gonna offer you this and because what's the kid, Mikey Williams? He's already got NIL deals. Yep. So what if they say, hey, we're gonna give you this, but you got to reclassify so we can get you into college. So that could possibly be going in the works as well. Kids reclassifying based on NIL deals now. So man, it makes it very difficult for good. Shout out to these coaches.
But I do. Me personally, I like the NIL deals. I think kids,
get your bread.
They need to get this money. I mean, you gotta think. Somebody get $1 million NIL deal, you just change that person and his parents and siblings. You just change their life.
Yeah, get your money.
And think of how much money these universities are making off the name of some of these players.
Look at UK. Ever since Cal got here with Anthony Davis and all of them cats.
Just think if NIL deals would have been here when Anthony Davis was here.
With all them brow T-shirts.
With the brow T-shirts, everything that you had going on. Like, his name was so big.
He probably been making about $8 million.
His NIL deal would have been huge.
That's what I'm saying. He probably would have came back to school because if he went pro, it would have probably been a pay cut.
And he would have actually lived up to it because he did win the championship.
Yeah, so that's even more money stacked on top of that at the same time.
But sometimes these NIL deals could probably hurt, too, the university. Because now I give you $5 million.
I see where you're going to go with this.
Are you still going to
care as much,
put up as much fight, play as hard? Now it's like, okay, now I don't want to play real hard because I don't want to get injured. See if I get drafted. If I don't get drafted, I just made $5 million.
Also could cause jealousy within the team.
It absolutely will at some point.
Yeah, oh man.
It already started down in Miami.
Why they offer? He ain't even really that good for real.
One kid from Miami, he said, oh, I need to renegotiate my NIL deal because they gave some money to somebody else. I think the kid, I forgot what his name was. I think he was like all ACC or whatever, or maybe like second team ACC or something like that. But he said he need to renegotiate his.
But greediness will end all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it go back to where these college players ain't getting paid. I mean,
and
they still gonna get paid. But just like, you feel me? It just ain't gonna be open.
It ain't gonna be legally getting paid. Yeah.
Well, and the NBA owners definitely gonna be keeping an eye on that. The kids that's coming out and whining over this little $1 million or something, they're gonna be like, I ain't about to give him $40 million, and he's setting out for $1 million. He causing drama for $1 million. Like, I can't mess with this guy.
That's true too.
Yeah, man.
It just made me think of some the show All American. You see where what's his name? Spencer. He was going for his NIL deal. Nah. Wait a second. We go back. It's on the All American Homecoming.
I ain't seen that one yet.
Yeah, I ain't watched that.
Okay, so the baseball player, the big name baseball player who was gonna go like first in the draft decided to go college, but he's getting an NIL deal. But he's not taking the NIL deal for himself. If you're not giving the whole team a deal, everybody on his team, some kind of deal, he ain't taking it.
But see, those are one-offs. Very, very rare
Man,
where you see it.
No.
That's a TV show.
Yeah, I was about to say that's fictional.
That's a TV
Because
show.
I was going to say, very rare
I'm
when
saying-
you see a
but-
dude
but I'm
stand
saying-
up like that, though.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. But if that type of stuff could happen, like when people are giving NIL deals out, if they could say, "Hey, let's give an NIL deal to the team,"
It ain't gonna work though because
somebody gonna get more.
see, here's the thing: when it comes down to businesses, every little dollar has to make sense to a business. So, giving TyTy Washington a Porsche makes sense to a business. They're gonna look at his Instagram. They're gonna look at his pro potential. That's gonna make sense. But giving it to everybody on the team is just gonna be an L. And corporations do not want to take the L, man. Like if you really think about how corporations move, they don't want to spend an extra dollar if they don't think they can get something back for it. So I doubt that there's gonna be businesses that'll be like, you know what, we get a whole team Porsches. Now you talking Fazoli's?
I was going to say, if it's fast food, like, hey, we give you
Alright.
a year coupon, all you can eat, okay, we'll do
But
something
for
like
real,
that.
sometimes the person who has the best social media following isn't the best player. Sometimes that's the person that's sitting on the bench and gets a few minutes.
He's the popular guy.
And speaking of that, man, I heard that Hersey Miller was going to Louisville.
Yeah, I seen that too.
And one of my peoples have been following Hersey ever since he announced his NIL deal. And basically, this person was telling me he believes it was all fool's gold because he looked at this business. They seem kind of sketchy. He looked at Hersey Miller's social media. He never seen him post anything about this business. So he's looking at it like, they gave boy $2 million and he ain't made one single post. I did see TyTy posting Fazoli's a bunch of different times. You know what I mean?
Hey.
I don't know what he got from Fazoli's.
You know what that mean?
What?
Louisville's already on they bullshit. They could be right back in the same boat.
Right back where they at. Where they
Ah, Lord.
But that's on them. Let do that. Let them
Yeah, man.
do that.
To try to compete with the big brother, they gonna try to do whatever they can. It don't matter if they trying to get the strippers.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Kenny Payne, if that's true, if they got Hersey Miller, I think that's a bad look for Kenny Payne.
Think so?
When they did the little poster, they had Devin Booker on there, Brandon Ingram, the Morris twins. They talking about all these big time recruits that they connected to, and you get Hersey Miller. That looks weird to me, man. Like, all right, like Kenny, like the fans is looking at you like you about to have them back, man. Like if you recruiting Hersey Miller, y'all not gonna look like y'all about to take over the ACC with Hersey Miller.
So I guess Hersey Miller ain't that good.
Because they haven't landed a top recruit yet. Well, let me take it back. They haven't landed a star recruit yet. They got a recruit kid from Louisville Male. He's top 30-ish. He's good. But they ain't made a splash recruit.
They waiting on DJ.
They waiting on DJ.
I think they're gonna get DJ.
I think that's probably all right.
I think they're gonna get
Ain't
DJ.
his grandfather or something like that on the staff or something like that?
See, that whole situation was crazy because Calipari gave his grandfather the job at Memphis. And that's probably how he got DeJuan Sr. Then, and you know, Milt and Kenny played together at Louisville on their championship team. So that's, you know, I'm sure that's the reason why he was offered the position at Louisville. Then you got Calipari, who's tied in with DeJuan Sr. And they was talking about him potentially making a position for DeJuan Sr. So, man, that's just been one of the weirdest situations with recruiting that I've ever seen.
I think he wants to come to UK.
I think
he does, but it's the Louisville ties.
But if Cal's smart and he opens up a spot for DeJuan Sr., his son got to come play for his daddy. Plus, like you said, Cal's the one that gave his grandfather a job.
Yeah,
and at first. And gave his daddy a chance.
Mm-hmm.
in college ball. I mean, he could win anywhere, but
he pushed him to go to the NBA
because of his style. His style had him ready to go.
That's why I said I think he really wants to come to UK, but that's my granddaddy. You see what I'm saying? Like, he's torn.
I heard from another source that's close to the family that his mother wants him to go to Louisville. His daddy wants him to go to Kentucky.
See.
But most boys don't want to disappoint their mothers, man. If you had to let somebody down, you feel like
daddy down.
You feel like your daddy will forgive you. And
well, it depends, because if my dad went and played college ball for this coach, and that coach got him to the league,
feel like you owe him
and
one.
my dad says, this is who you need to play for, he's going to have you ready, I'm listening to my dad. Like, I think Kenny Payne's going to be, I think he's going to be a really good coach. I'm not going to say great because we don't know yet, but I do think he's going to be a really good coach. But do you risk your career on going to play for this guy who's not hasn't been a head coach on? Like, do you risk your career going to play for him and you ain't really seen what he's going to be able to do at this level?
And the school's not even, it's not like he took a job and everything's great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he really got to really strengthen Louisville.
Yeah, he got to do some work.
He got some work to do, man.
He got to do some work.
Where they sitting at the SEC, the ACC right now?
Right now, bottom. Right, bottom. Down there with the Virginia Tech, but then at the bottom.
They down there with the strippers.
They down there with the strippers. They at the bottom. Because, like you said, they got a lot of work to do, man. Chris Mack, he didn't do an exceptional job of recruiting for them.
They should have never hired him.
To even give Kenny Payne something to work with. So he's got to work with what Chris Mack got and bring it. So he got a lot of work to do. So
they should have never hired him. It was man, for real. Kentucky did that with Billy Gillispie.
A panic hire.
It was a panic hire. Instead of getting the right guy, you just jumped and said, "We're gonna grab this guy
because he's the hot guy. So let's get him right there.
Let's get him right now.
Instead of seeing what, like you said, what works for your program and what your program's about, let's go ahead and grab him right there. And then we see the ramifications of that. So set the program back.
Look, because me personally, I was one of the guys that was like, it's time for Tubby to go.
Me too, actually.
I mean, and some people get mad at me for saying that, but basketball was evolving to a fast-paced game, a up-and-down game, and he was still playing slow ball, half-court ball, and it wasn't transitioning with these players that was coming out of high school.
They want to get up and down and run, yeah.
And I don't think they was polished enough to play his style ball. Like, I think if you would have gave Tubby McDonald's All-Americans as seniors, if you could guarantee every year he coached top talent that was seniors, he probably would have had a better opportunity to win more games. But the talent that he was pulling at Kentucky, it was taking them literally 4 years to just be okay. Good, yeah. You know what I mean?
But so after Tubby was gone, and they said, we're hiring Billy Gillispie, I was like, what the? What?
I was glad. I was happy.
I was like, man, y'all really went out.
Billy was hot that year, though.
Man,
that goes back to the Louisville
that's
thing.
what I'm not. But listen, but that's what I'm saying. You just base this off of this guy having
about one or two.
I think he had 2 good seasons at Texas. I think he had DeAndre Jordan, if I'm not mistaken.
He did.
No, what's old dude's name?
AC Law.
Yeah.
The point guard.
Yeah, he just went crazy. So you had this guy that just went crazy, but you got to look not just off of what he did this year and just maybe the year before. You got to look at what this guy's done in his career. You can't just base it up. All right, I go and I'm a horrible coach every year, and then I just happen to get some great recruits, and then they end up being some great players, and I have two big time years. Shouldn't hire me for a big program. For what?
I just don't think UK did enough research. Billy Gillispie
was not a good coach.
No, to give him some credit, he started off at University of Texas El Paso. He got them to the tournament. Then he took the Texas A&M. So he was a good coach, but they should have did more research on how he was as a person.
He was a good coach for small schools.
That's what I'm saying. Like, figure
Not
out what
for
he
a
is.
big name school, not for a Kansas, a Duke, a Kentucky, a North Carolina.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. They should have done more research.
Even a Louisville, like those kind of programs, you can't take a guy because he's had one, 2 good years at a small school.
He got hot at the right time, and that's what they was like, oh, yeah, let's get him. And then
that time,
he's at Drake's drunk every weekend.
At that time, when
He was, for real.
when Tubby was going out, I was like, man, there was 3 people I was like, I want Kentucky to go for. It was John Calipari, Jay Wright. No, it was 4 people. John Calipari, Jay Wright, Tom Izzo, which he was last on my list because he still had that kind of slow down game as well.
Does.
But he was still drawing in the big time recruits. But the other person was Billy Donovan. Those were the 4 that I was wanting them to go for. But it was Calipari first. Jay Wright was second. Because I like Jay Wright. I think he's one of the best coaches we've seen.
He's one of the best modern day coaches yeah.
In this era, he's definitely one of the best coaches we've seen.
By the way, R.I.P. to Villanova, man.
Oh, that program's over with. So it's a wrap. Whatever Final Four hopes they have, it's done.
Who did they hire?
I don't even know, and I don't even care because it ain't even gonna make no difference, bro.
Man, I forgot.
Well, it make a difference if they end up going out and finding a big time coach.
I don't know if they'll draw a big time coach now. I don't think the school is like that.
You want to go behind that? The guy who built that program up like that, you want to follow that?
And I don't think they got the tradition. Like, I don't think there's like hot coaches that are like, man, I always wanted to coach at Villanova when I was coming up. I don't think that's one of them jobs.
Do you think Jay Wright goes and coaches somewhere else after this?
Oh yeah, I think he's just taking a little year off
In college?
No,
I don't think college.
I was talking about.
I think he's gonna go. I think he's gonna end up in the pro level.
I could see him coaching pros. I think pros is more difficult in some aspects, but probably a lot less complicated in others. And I do think it's more pressure on you in the pros, but I think their recruiting stuff is probably starting to drive some of these guys insane, man.
Coach K's gone, Roy's gone.
I feel like Tom Izzo will be done soon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how much longer Calipari will put up with it. Even though 5. I know he enjoys the recruiting process, he's always been good at it. But it's got to be wearing some of these guys out now to have to do so much, man. Like,
I say Coach Cal got 6 or 7 good years left in him before he finally decides, you know what, it's too much. Mm-hmm. Because like you talked about earlier, the transfer portal, the NIL deals, you have to keep constantly recruiting your own kids because they might transfer to another school. So now I got to recruit my kids and this kid coming out of high school too.
It's pressure to play them because of that too. Because we lost several dudes off the team, and I don't know if they'll end up being better or worse, but we lost 3 dudes because of the lack of playing time. I mean, we lost Allen. We lost what's my guy's name?
Brooks.
We lost Brooks
and
that's crazy. See, you don't get to know these players long enough.
Bryce Hopkins.
I liked Hopkins too, man. He came out and had a big game and then just didn't get no more clock again.
But I do got to say this. I got to give Calipari credit. The guys that he has chosen not to play, none of them have gained success at the next level after leaving him.
That's fair.
A few of them have had some success, like for instance, Charles Matthews,
Johnny Juzang, or whatever his kid's name.
Juzang had a little success. Wilcher had a little success, but none of them boys have had NBA level success. So I do got to kind of give some credit to Cal that he might have seen the writing on the wall, because even Juzang didn't get drafted.
No.
And that was kind of a shock to me because the way he was killing it last year, I'm like, he might have messed his career up because he might have should have went on and win in that draft.
Yep. Came back this year.
I still don't think he would have got drafted.
He got hot in the tournament.
He was hot though.
But he was like it ain't just about getting hot. You got to look at the system that they're playing in college. If it doesn't transition to NBA, style of play.
But
They
I
don't
feel like
want
he would
you.
have had a better chance last season
He definitely would've.
than this season because
he would have probably got drafted. It wouldn't have been high, but I could see him.
late first round, early second.
Yeah, I could see that.
I don't know.
Because you got to think.
Because this draft class right here was...
No, not this year.
Nah, I know.
Year.
I'm saying this draft class was...
You think it was worse?
yeah. This one wasn't that good.
I think his class might have some killers in it.
I think it's very top heavy. I think when you look at the top 10, 15,
I was gonna say 15.
The top 10, 15 of this draft, I can say the top 5 of this draft could potentially be the best top 5 we've seen in a long time.
I agree with that.
But when you look at the second half of the first round and the second round,
it's garbage.
I think it's very forgettable.
That's true. That's fair. He could have, yeah.
I just don't think
Scottie Pippen Jr. didn't even get drafted.
No, he just got picked up though.
No, I'm saying he didn't get drafted.
I know, but I'm saying he
had a great season for Vanderbilt, and he still didn't even get drafted.
He had a great offensive season, but when you don't play no defense.
Man, listen, NBA don't care about the defense.
And speaking of that, because
they do.
because I got to talk about Grady too, because he got the same deal as Scottie Pippen, so they got a 2-way deal. So what does that even mean?
Man, from my understanding, the 2-way deal is that you play for the ball club and G League, that they can call you up pretty much at any time.
So
that's pretty
officially
much
you are a G League.
You are on. No, you're on said team. But they're putting you down in the G League, but you're still a part because in the G League
they can take from other
exactly.
Other clubs.
So you're on my roster, but we're sending you down
like
to the
a restricted player.
But pretty much, yeah. So that's what the 2-way joint is. You're on our squad, but we're sending you down to the G League. Nobody else can touch you.
Right.
That's crazy because I ain't even see that about Grady.
Yeah, he got one.
With who?
I forgot who it was. I'd have to check. But,
Pippen Jr. was with Lakers.
Lakers, yeah. Mm-hmm.
With Shaq's boy.
Mm-hmm.
They both got him.
Oh, you got a 2-way deal too? I just thought.
I didn't see that either.
Yep. I just didn't know what it actually meant.
Yeah. So you are property. What was you saying before the show started? You belong to me.
Most definitely, man. But anyways, so I think we did enough about college, man. So the last thing that I want to get into before we wrap my 100th episode up.
100. Congratulations, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, I didn't even know if I was going to make it this far, man. And truthfully, when I started the show, man, I didn't even know. I didn't really have no direction. I didn't know what it was going to become. And, you know, the main reason why I wanted to do a giveaway is because my audience kind of helped shape my show.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I drop certain content, UK basketball, Louisville, NCAA related content, I just noticed more engagement from the fans, more likes, more comments. And then I just decided, like, man, I'm just going to feed the beast, man. So if that's what the audience wants, then that's kind of what I'm just here to give them. So
people what they want.
It kind of just organically shifted into a UK channel. I had one of my subscribers tell me this is a UK channel. And I said, you know what, you're right.
It is.
It's a UK channel.
It is.
So that's, you know, shout out to my subscribers, man. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to give away these nice mugs. And
can I put you on the spot and ask you one question though?
Ask me one question.
So UK channel, your 100th show, you know, you won't put it out there. They help shape you. Why are you wearing Louisville colors today?
Great question, Ike.
For your
you should
100th episode of the UK channel.
You should be in blue and white right now.
Hey, can y'all give him hell about this? Like, go get into the comments and go at him.
Yeah. Yo, 100 show you got on Louisville colors
Come
today.
on, man.
Hey, my bad, y'all. I'm going to have on a Kentucky t-shirt for my 101 episode. I'm going to have on a Kentucky t-shirt, I swear.
Yeah.
I need to get some brand new Kentucky gear anyway, so now is the best time, man. But anyways.
My bad for him.
Speaking of, you know, me doing my show, I wanted to transition and talk about the new media, right? And for anybody out there that's not aware of this whole situation, Draymond Green has dubbed himself a part of the new media. And there's kind of been this constant back and forth with the older guys that covered the media, maybe some guys like myself that didn't play it at a high level versus athletes that obviously are the highest level performers in the sport. And it just seems to be a lot of bickering back and forth. So I just wanted to discuss a little bit about how we feel about it, because me personally, I'm torn because I enjoy the new media, but I also do respect the older guys and guys like myself that aren't able to play or perform at a high level, but I still feel like I'm qualified to give commentary on it. So I want to know, what do y'all feel about this whole new media thing?
I can tell you right there, I love it. I love the back and forth. I think it keeps media as a whole fresh. I like, because I believe that you need both. I believe that you need people who's played in the leagues, you know, NFL, MLB, NBA. Like, you need those people talking about the game. But you also need people who are on the outside looking in, speaking on the game. So when you look at the Skip Baylesses and the Stephen A. Smiths and, you know, all these guys, Chris Broussard, and so you need those guys as well. But I love right now the back and forth that they're having. I think it's keeping media fresh. I think it's having us watch more media on both sides. I like Draymond's show. Draymond, he speaks the truth. He don't hold back for nobody. I didn't like Kevin Durant's show.
I haven't seen it yet. I mean, I've listened to some of his older podcasts, but I didn't see the one he just dropped.
He don't really talk. Like, you know, questions come about Kyrie.
And see, that's one of the main reasons why I sort of have an issue with some of the players, because I feel like they so protective of the NBA players that I feel like you can't be real. Like Skip will just be like, hey, look, if you got a problem with me, just come on my show and we'll get at it. And some of them will, but the ones that really be having the most to say, like KD, will not. And the reason is because Skip is going to ask him, why'd you leave Oklahoma? And he ain't going to want to say, you was right. I couldn't play with Russell Westbrook.
Some people just aren't built for it. Draymond's built for it. Because Draymond's not going to care. He's going to speak what he has to say. Patrick Beverly, he's built for stuff like it. He's built for media. Because he's not scared to say what he has to say. That's why I really like Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson's show. Because they speak their minds. It don't matter if their opinion, they're speaking it.
I think the best way to do it is to have a little bit of both, right? And that's why I always think about like the TNT guys. I feel like they have the best like show as far as commentating on sports, period. And then they got athletes and they got a non-athlete. And it just meshes perfectly together. And you get all of it rolled into one.
That's not even just in the NBA. When you NFL, when you look, get up in the morning and watch the Sunday countdown.
Yeah.
Watch the Monday night countdown. It's athletes, and then it's usually somebody that's not an athlete. And that person pretty much directs the show, like keeps it going. They keep the topics here and they throw it out there, and they like set these athletes up to be able to speak. And I love that. I think that the new media needs to do that as well. They need to have somebody there with them that's not in the NBA, not in the NFL. Speak with them. I think it'll work, but I love it.
They do. Oh, JJ Redick does. Him and his partner. So he has somebody who does.
I do like his show too.
Kevin Durant, his podcast. He has somebody on there that hasn't played in sports. And like you said, the thing about the shows you were mentioning, nobody ever disrespects Ernie. When you see NFL Countdown, where they have some women on there hosting, nobody. So when we talked about this before, that's the only thing I don't like is that if a pro player and a journalist, reporter, or whatever going back and forth, you can disagree with what my assessment is, but disagree because of that. Don't disagree because I didn't play in the league, so I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the only problem I have. It's like, we can see the same game, but see it two different ways, but that doesn't mean I know less than you. I just see it a different way.
Because Stephen A. Smith made more money than some of these NBA players.
So that's my only thing is these guys sometimes feeling like because they played, their word is the law. And because you didn't, you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Right.
So that's the only thing and back to the Draymond, I love what he does because he'll hold himself accountable. During the playoffs, he came on this podcast and he said, I'm playing like shit. How many, like, he's a star level player, but how many superstar players will come on their own podcast and say, I'm playing like trash? None of them.
No, they're going to make excuses for themselves.
Exactly. So that's the difference between Draymond and why everybody likes what he does. Because like you said, he's going to keep it 100.
I like his, and I do like JJ Redick's too. I think JJ speaks, he speaks his mind too.
I think JJ is almost better at broadcasting than he was at basketball, to be honest with you. And I think Draymond could eventually become better too. Mm-hmm. I could see Draymond, and Skip Bayless has said this, on, TNT with Shaq and Barkley and them. But I do think when you get on that level, when you switch over to that side, I do think you have to be more willing to criticize players. And I think it's one thing for Draymond to criticize himself, but if you're going to be in media, you're going to have to be honest about other people.
I think
that could potentially be your peers.
I think he will do that.
I think he'll do it. I think he'll do that part once his playing days are done. But right now, because if y'all remember, might have been this season when they had Donovan Mitchell on there one time after a game, and Shaq gave him some harsh criticism, and Donovan Mitchell was like, okay. And that's like, bruh, the old heads are giving you advice to get better. The new generation of NBA players don't want to take what these older heads are saying and use that to help their games. So they also have to be careful as far as the old media and how they're approaching these younger guys, because the process that worked for them back in the day, which was critique me, be hard on me, it's gonna make me better. These younger generation dudes, they ain't soft. They ain't built like that.
Nah, soft. And it ain't just it starts all the way down to, you look now, the Pee Wee leagues. You got parents that want to fight coaches because the coaches might yell at the player. Man, that's coaching.
That's coaching.
The best coaches ever.
How am I going to get the most out of this kid if I can't get through to him and I got to coddle him all the time and pass? Like, that's not coaching, man, because then he going to get to the next level, get his head knocked off, and you're going to blame me because I ain't do my job. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm with y'all though. I like the new media versus the old media.
You know how,
especially Skip versus Stephen A.
You know how you were just saying JJ Redick might be better at media than he was at playing ball. I think the same thing with Matt Barnes. I think Matt Barnes is great in the media.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's kind of like Ryan Clark to me. They can do both.
Another good one.
They can switch over and do like some podcasts and get super real, or they can be on television and they can hold it down on television as well. Mm-hmm. And I actually appreciate that, because I do, man. I definitely think it's amazing when you get to see the players tell you the game from a player's perspective. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember when Kobe and Spike doing work, man, I was blown away just listening to Kobe's commentary of the game while he was actually playing it and just hearing what he was thinking. Like, I think that is definitely necessary. But then I think guys like myself that was a below average basketball player, I think I know what I'm watching when I'm watching the TV.
We do.
And I think I can commentate on it. Now, you got to agree with what I say? Of course not. Will I say some wild stuff sometimes? Absolutely. Will I say some dumb stuff?
Pretty much everything you say.
Pretty much everything I say is going to be dumb. But that's okay. Like,
but see, that goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, we can disagree, but disagree about what we see, not disagree because you played there and I didn't play there. You see what I'm saying? Like, because that makes what I say any more less valid than you because you played in the pros. And to the Kobe Bryant thing, that's what we want as fans, because we want to know what you saw and how y'all look at games versus how we look at games, right? Like, to us, it might be just a 2-3 zone. But to a player, nah, this is a 2-3 zone where this player drops here and this if you pay it. So now we're like, okay, so now we're looking at it different because it's a different intricacy of what they see because they played versus what we're just watching, which is great for us.
That's why there's 3 people in that do commentary and stuff for the NFL that I love hearing. Tony Romo is one because when he's doing commentary, he breaks down stuff for you, so you start seeing stuff that you don't pay attention to. The other 2 is Eli and Peyton. When they do the Monday and they breaking stuff down and Peyton's telling you what he's looking at and Eli's telling you what he's looking at. And he's like, hey, when the defense is set right here, this is what you need to go to. This is what they should go. The next play they should run. And I like that.
Yeah, that's dope.
And if you remember, too, it was legendary when John Gruden was doing his quarterback show. That was fire to me. I know he had to take his money to go, mess up another franchise or whatever.
Get fired. Well, no, he did get fired. My bad. Yeah.
Don't say mess up another franchise. He didn't mess up my franchise.
He got us a chip.
No, well, my bad. He took his money to go mess up the Raiders.
Yeah.
I apologize.
He definitely got us a chip.
He got us a chip. So we good. We good with John down south. We good.
Yeah.
They over at the Raiders.
That was back in the day where, you could be a little disrespectful to gay people if you wanted to or whatever. So I guess he was cool then, you know what I mean? But nowadays, you can't be doing all that, John.
Walk on eggshells.
John, stop all of that, man. You should have stayed doing the quarterback analysis. We loved you for that, man.
He messed that show up.
I got one question for y'all just before we get out of here. Y'all really took on this Hoochie Daddy short season for real, didn't you?
I'm showing these legs.
Nah,
I put a lot of work
mine's
in.
because I'm sitting down, man. These are actually a lot longer than they look. Now, do I got some ones that's shorter than this? I do.
Do they come past your knee? Those?
No, I don't.
If they above your knee, then they Hoochie Daddies.
I don't know if I have any shorts that come
to your knee. Do they come to your knee?
I mean, they're close, I guess.
Why you making that face?
Are you showing any thigh?
I don't
any
know.
thigh?
I got a few pairs that's
man, tell him he's a grown man.
I tell you right now, man.
He's a grown man.
I just came back from the beach, man.
I tell you right now, I rocks with the Hoochie Daddies, man. Look, Hoochie Daddy shorts and compression socks, fam.
Tell him about why. The compression socks.
The compression socks. D's actually the one to put me on.
Yeah, Derek, tell us why.
But I can look, I'll go ahead and tell you.
Go ahead and tell him.
Them compression socks, man, at blood flow in your legs. Gets that blood flowing, and it goes straight up to and
there you go.
Yeah.
And they keep you from having strokes too, apparently.
Yeah.
So and keep the blood flowing from the hips below.
Keep you great.
Keep you great.
Yes, sir, man.
Happy wife, happy life.
Absolutely. Well, listen, man. Right there, I guess that's as good as any time to go on and wrap this up, man. I really appreciate y'all. Like I said, this is my 100th episode. I wasn't sure that I was going to get here, man, because there was times when it was very trying for me to keep doing it, man. Like, I had moments where I was like, I'm about to do all of this work for 4 people to watch or listen to my show. Should I keep doing it? And sometimes I was like, but then I was like, I'm just going to keep doing it, man. And finally, I got to a point where I feel like I'm actually giving some valuable content to people, and people are actually seem to be appreciative. Like I said, that's why I want to do my giveaway. And hopefully, as the channel and the show continues to grow, I can continue to do more giveaways. I can continue to provide more merchandise, more content, maybe even do some live shows so I can interact with my audience more. So I just got big plans from here on out, man. But I want to thank y'all for being a part of my 100th episode.
We gonna be back for 200.
Tell them how they win the giveaway again, just in case they forgot.
One more time, the way you win the giveaway. Number 1, you have to be subscribed to Sports and Discourse, right? And by the way, this is not actually a part of the giveaway, but subscribe on the other platforms as well. You can hit us on Anchor, you can hit us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, right? So any way you listen to it, you can get it from us. But to win the drawing for these Sports and Discourse mugs, you need to be subscribed to the channel And you need to tell us about your favorite college basketball player and why you love that player. And that'll get you one of these cups. And I'll announce the winners on my next episode. Thank y'all again. I really appreciate you.
When's the next episode?
Oh, I'm back in town now. It'll be soon. It'll probably be by the middle of the week for sure.
Okay.
It ain't gonna take me too long now that I'm back in action.
Y'all need to get on there now and comment
now.
I'll give them a few days. I'll give them maybe 2 or 3 days, and then I'll pick the winners, man. But anyways, I appreciate y'all, and I'll see you next time on Sports and Discourse with Derek Stevenson. We out of here.
Peace.